Good morning, everybody. It's me, the Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. I hope you're having a fabulous Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. Our days are running into each other. It was a very interesting and exciting day yesterday with 5 shows, and I want to thank everybody so much for watching and tuning in, and thank you for all your questions and all the ideas and tips that came along throughout the day. If you're new to the show, this is your first day to the show, we're going to be going over the different yarns and some techniques, some pictures and samples of things that we have here at Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl for you, as well as if you have been here in the past, you may see a little repetition, but we'll try to keep the content fresh and exciting for everyone. So first, I just want to say a little something about quarantining and how this is affecting all of us. I have 2 grandsons, and they are 13 and 11. And the little guy, I guess, he's a really busy fellow, and he gets to get a little antsy and missing family. So he decided to send us all pictures that we had to, it was just a little pencil drawing, and we had to decorate and send back to him. He created a family coloring contest. So this was my coloring submission to the contest, and I hope I win. But that was my contribution to my grandson's effort at keeping us all happy and connected while we're apart. One of the things that I thought I'd bring up today is people ask me a lot when they see my bust. Those of you who know about Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl from the past know that I have a mobile yarn shop, mobile on wheels, and so I have my lovely little bus that's set up like a store, and I travel to different events and venues. People book the bus for parties. They book it for shopping events and things like that. And so folks say all the time, how'd you get started? What gave you the idea to do a bus instead of a yarn shop? Well, here's the story. When I was a little girl, my grandma, Pacifico, taught me to crochet. She would always be crocheting whenever she had a break because they owned a grocery store. And so she was always in and out of the grocery store, and every time she'd take a break, she'd be crocheting, and I'd sit next to her, and she handed me a crochet hook and taught me how to crochet. My grandfather had an extension of that grocery store, and what he would do is he would take school buses and take the seats out, rip the seats out of the school bus, and retool it to a traveling grocery store, where he would put all the fresh produce and dairy products and things like that. And he would, it had canned goods in it as well. And he would drive from neighborhood to neighborhood, honking his horn, and all the women would come out, all the homeowners would come out, and they would shop on the bus for their groceries. And so the folks who were not in the local vicinity of my grandma's store would get to shop at Pacifico and Sons through their mobile vegetable or produce store, the mobile grocery store. So when I was deciding what I wanted to do at the end of my my corporate career, I thought, I love to knit. And I didn't necessarily want to do brick and mortar. And well, actually, before I even thought about brick and mortar, the mobile shop came to mind. I will say that it took me 2 years to convince my husband that it was a good idea. But it has been an amazing little business for me. And from that mobile yarn shop, I started finding customers wanted to purchase who didn't know me and who were not local. And so that gave birth to the website and kit offerings. So now, Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl, we've always done curbside pickup. We do curbside delivery. But now Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl is on wheels, online, and live in our studio, makeshift studio, to bring our products to you. So just a little bit of history on Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl and how we got started and the things that keep us going. You know what keeps us going mostly? It's you. It's you for sure, because you are our business. Without you, we wouldn't be here. So thank you all so much for tuning in and for liking Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. So yesterday we talked about some of the Nora yarns. No, it's okay, Paul. You can stay right there because I'm walking back. I love my cameraman. He's working so hard to keep me. Somebody said the video was blurry.
Yes, we had a signal issue.
There was a blip?
Yeah, there was a blip. That's when I went like this.
Got it.
But it's resolved.
Okay, well, thank you, viewer, for letting us know that. I want to show you a picture because yesterday, hold on a minute. I want to show the yarn first before I show the picture. We talked about this beautiful Noro Tsubame, this new yarn by Noro. And this is it right here. I show you this colorway because I want to show you the image that someone has put up. Oh, no, hold on. Before I wind up deleting all my images, because I've been known to do that before. There you go. Can you see that, Paul? Can you show that? I mentioned yesterday that someone was actually had knitted up a shawl for me using this yarn. But of course, with our quarantine, we're not able to get it here. But look at that. Look how pretty that is. So this is called a stitch sampler shawl. I've made it before using different yarns, but the colors and the way the striping is in the Tsubame really brings out the different stitches that are in the actual garment. Look at the designs in there. So you've got a variety of stitches, and it keeps you engaged throughout the entire project. Sometimes we like those projects that are that we call mindless knitting, and we can just keep going and going and going and not have to worry about it because we can just it's a simple pattern. This type of pattern will keep you engaged throughout without being overly difficult. It's got drop stitches and some eyelets and just a nice combination of stitches. So this is the Tsubame yarn. It is 600 meters. So you've got over 600 yards on a skein. Oh, by the way, that shawl takes one skein. Talk about a one skein project. Isn't that crazy? But so that's Tsubame. The fiber content is 50% silk, 25% wool, 25% polyamide. You've got see the label information there, and this sells for $51.75 for over 600 yards. And remember, you've got a 10% discount this weekend at Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl. So wanted to share that with you since we talked about that project yesterday. Something else I wanted to share was inspiration. And we touched on it in yesterday's show. It's amazing where we get our inspiration from. We'll talk about inspiration for projects, but one of the things that I find interesting is how people look at color. And if I can find this really quickly, I think I can.
Anna Maria says hello.
Hello, Anna Maria. Oh, here. Okay, so my mom is 92 years old. She's in a nursing home. We're fortunate that she is mentally in a great place. Physically, she's a little debilitated. As a matter of fact, she doesn't walk, and she only has the use of 2 fingers. But the one thing that she enjoys doing, 2 things. One is playing words with friends, and the other is coloring. So this is one of the mandalas that she recently colored. Yes, she has the use of 2 fingers, an index finger and a thumb on one hand. She is an amazing person. She loves detail. So she showed this picture to me one day when I was there. And I love when she's done with a coloring book. She says, do you know anyone who'd like to see my pictures? And I take the book and I show it to my friends because she's so proud of herself. But when she saw that, this is what I saw. Let me turn this. Inspiration for colors. Take a look at that. Uh-oh. Let me help Paul. There you go. So when I saw that picture from Mom, I immediately thought of the new Huasco cotton yarns that are out. And so it makes me think, I get inspiration for my projects from the yarns. And then I wonder, how do the yarn manufacturers get inspiration for their colors? For example, the Huasco cottons are so vibrant. The colors are amazing in them.
Janzi says, LOL, Maddie just played Words with Friends and it's my turn.
That's cute. That's cute. So how do the designers get inspiration for all these colors? I can't imagine, like, if that was me, I'd be driving through town and I go, oh, I need a yarn like that. And so that's what happens. And, they create it. So inspiration happens all around us, whether we're the designer for the pattern, we're the manufacturer of the yarn, or we're the knitter looking at what can I do with this skein of yarn, this wonderful skein of yarn that I have. And which takes me to the inspiration that I had that I'm just dying to get to the project on. And that is this beautiful sweater. Now, I don't know if I can, let me see if I can find the pattern in the picture in here where the sweater is shown. When I saw this, look at those colors. Isn't that pretty how the colors are all just kind of layered in perfect sequence to create the depth of the sweater? And it was really interesting that on the day or within days of this magazine coming, arrived the Patagonia yarns. And so I sat and I took this color and this one and this one. Let's watch this happen here. And this. I think it goes this way. I can't remember which way the greens go. But if you watch this, we are coming out with that exact sweater. I think there's another gray in there. I may not have it exactly right, but we've got all the colors in that sweater right in this Patagonia yarn. Oh, there's another one up there, that pink. This was it. I'm stuck on my samples down here. There. Look. Isn't that fabulous? This way, and then this way, and this way, and I think there's a gray in there too. So the inspiration for that sweater came from this yarn and vice versa. It was like they were made for me to work together on. And so, of course, the hard part is when you own a yarn shop, you don't always have the time to knit for yourself. You're always finding, what's the next project that people would enjoy working on?
Janzi says, stunning, I need it.
Good. Let's make it our next knit along. How's that? It's better than the new set we saw online for the husbands during quarantine. Yeah, that's a great project, and I do love it. There's another one that you can do, and I'll price that out, and I'll put that price online for you folks. There's a project that can be knitted. It's a Noro sweater. Oh
Janzi says, sign me up.
Okie dokie. It is I can't remember which book it's in. I wish somebody from Knitting Fever was on, from Noro Yarns. It's a red pullover. This is a newer book. By the way, these Noro yarn books are fabulous. They have great ideas in them, and their patterns are just fabulous. And easy. You're not going to get hurt when you work with Noro. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I will find there's a red sweater that is absolutely stunning that Noro puts out of that out of the Ito. So, okay, let's keep moving along here. Something that we we talked a little bit yesterday about, I wore a shawl in the afternoon show where we used two colors to work together. And I thought about working these in a mosaic type pattern for knitting and in that Two Cakes to Tango pattern in crochet. This is another pretty gradient, how these colors, well actually this is more a long self stripe. This is really, I love this yarn. It's so soft, has a nice halo to it. And look at that blue. This is really, it reminds me of chrome. Really pretty, that a copper, not chrome. That's a nice, and there's some great one skein projects out of Stella yarn, and at $14.95, that's a great price point. We do have this infinity shawl on our website. You can find that kit on our website. And yeah, different colors. These are the other colors that we have as well. And I'm trying to think of this. There was one other thing that I wanted to bring up this morning. Oh, I don't have that one set to go. On nittygrattyyarngirl.com, you will find a shawl, or yeah, it's kind of it's a little, just a slight little crescent. It's a drop back with pointed ends on it. It's called Pleasant Dreams, and it's a nice way to combine the KFI Indulgence Sport and the Ella Rae Silky Kid. It's actually done in pink. It's a one skein of, I believe it's one skein of each, I think it was. Let me see here. Yes, I think I used one skein of each to create this, the simple shawl that's on nittygrattyyarngirl.com. And the price point is great on it. And you can use a combination of colors. You know, this is one of my favorites. This one. With this, if you're looking for nice, bright colors. And let me just find that really quick on the website. Okay, so this is, it's a little bit hard to get pictures to come up. Someone was saying that the images are a little bit blurry. Could be your bandwidth at home. It could be a lot of different things right now because of the, there you go. So that's the Pleasant Dream shawl, and you can see it in the, in the KFI Indulgence Sport, and that is in, what's the color is that one? Bohemian Rhapsody and the peach. So we have all the different color combinations that are available on our website, and that kit is $41.99. Oh, by the way, as I'm scrolling through here, I see that Click and Knit came up. Click and Knit is still running. That was going to be rolling enrollments in that. So if you know folks who want to learn to knit, let them know about it. And I've got another class that's coming up. We do 3 classes per person, and it is we have the second one coming up today, and they're just 30-minute Zoom calls, but it's amazing how much fun we have. And we got both our people started yesterday in getting their knitting, their knit stitch down. We're keeping it simple. You know, we don't want to overwhelm you. You want to learn to knit, we're going to teach you to knit, and we'll take that on and on and on as we keep moving. So make sure you share that information with your friends. I showed you yesterday the Belviso yarn, and this is, I don't know if you were on last night or not, but I really like this little top. This is great for summer. You can, you can put a little tank under it if you would like, and it's great with a nice pair of walking shorts. And those colors will be up on the website coming up real soon. You know, we had, I was very fortunate to be able to get in my 2-day retreat. We had our Spring Friendship Retreat March 13th and 14th. And if you happen to be there, thanks again for coming. We had a fabulous time, and we eked it in just before all this craziness began. It was kind of like a last hurrah for all of us without even really knowing it. But we had an amazing time, and it's our next event was going to be Stitches. Actually, I had a Knitting Guild presentation between there, and then Stitches, and that's when things started to crumble like rocks coming down a mountainside. And so we just it all came to a screeching halt. But rest assured, Nitty Gritty Yarn Girl will have more retreats. Well, I'm already in the process of looking at places for that retreat, but not wanting to lock anything in just yet because we have, there's so much uncertainty right now. But it's okay. We just keep moving. As my grandmother says, it is what it is, and what you don't have is no good. So we just keep moving along here with all the things that we do have, and we've got a lot. So, last night, hi, I guess I moved too quickly for the cameraman. Sorry about that. It's all right. You can pan the room. Okay. Anyway, well, I'm just going to walk around this way, Mr. Cameraman, to let you and let the folks know that last night I started working on the Arabella pattern that I'm going to do out of this yarn, and trying my best to get some of that done so that I can share it with you, and you can show the different, to demonstrate the different things that you can do. Just because something comes in one kit doesn't mean, or just because it comes kitted doesn't mean that you have to do something, that one project with it. You can adapt and change and, just be a little creative. So I try to be creative for you to give you more projects to work with. Which makes me think about this yarn right here, the Ella Rae Lace Merino. This is a nice soft merino. Let's see here. We've got 100% merino wool, 302 yards on this skein. This is a DK weight. So if I walk gently over here so I don't make the cameraman crazy. Is that good? Is that good? Why not take these two and work them together? So if you wanted to do a mosaic stitch, or you wanted to do a trim on something, or, look what I'm wearing. I love this. This is called Batad, and it's a Stephen West design. I just love using short rows. I like short rows because some people think it's a crazy thing, but I do enjoy it. And I remember when I was knitting this, we were at my husband's daughter's college graduation, and I carried my knitting with me, and I was at the point where I really want to knit in public, but I'm not sure what people will think of me. And we're sitting at the commencement, and I'm watching all these people on their phones, on their devices, and I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to take my knitting out. And I was working on this pattern, and I thought it was just amazing that one of the people who were there with us turned to me and said, how can you knit and watch this at the same time? And it's like, you know what? It's easier for me to pay attention to what's going on up there than it is for you, because I'm just knitting straight across. There's big old, just knit one row, purl one row in the round, and you got it. So this happens to be a great combination to do this particular piece in. There are other combinations. You can actually use any of these yarns up here and mix them with any of these here. They will work. So you get a speckle, or a yarn that's got some movement in it. not too much stripe, but enough variation in it. I mean, look at this. Look how pretty that is. And then you take it and you put your welting in this color. And if you've never done welting before, that's this piece here. Okay, in this particular pattern, you're doing your short rows in between. You see little holes in there and a great little texture. But when you get to the welting, it's really simple. You knit 8 rows, and then you knit the first row and the 8th row together in that particular pattern. That's how it runs. So it's a little bit tricky, so that because it can get a little, it's on the bias, so you have to make sure that you don't get too much pulling on it. But it was a really fun project to work, and this is a great way to demonstrate some other yarns that can be used for it. Okay, so you can pull any, I mean, look at these combinations here. Let's see. Got the blue and the reds, and what I like about this is you can do it in a fingering weight. You can use a DK or sport. You're just going to adjust your pattern. Actually, you don't even have to adjust your pattern. Just adjust your needle size so that the pattern works well with, or the stitches work well. So here's, you can take this and you can use the blue with this as well. So the solid or tonal color really pulls, gives a nice spark to whatever it is you're working on. So where are we on time there, Mr. Cameraman? We got 3 minutes left. Are there any questions from the group? Because you've got my camera there, so I can't see. Okay, so there were some folks yesterday who were asking about the Cascade 13 shawl. These are the colors that are available here. We've got more in the Painted Sky on the other side. And is Anna Marie on? Do you know if Anna Marie
I think so.
is on? Anna Marie, I'll be in touch with you regarding that sweater we were talking about. And Jillian, I have some suggestions for you as far as the colors you were looking for the, I believe it's a sweater that you're working on as well. So when we come back at noon today, we're going to be looking at some ways to use up scrap yarn that you have, some kits that we've put together using mini skeins for you, and I'm going to see how much I can get done on that the Arabella that I am working on as well. So I think that may be a wrap for now. I know we've got about a minute left. So if you have any questions, reach out to me between now and our next session, our next segment, which will be at noontime. In the meantime, go to nittygrittyyarngirl.com. Take a look at the kits that we have there. Take a look at the yarns that you'll see on the website. Remember, we can customize anything for you. We do have drop-off and delivery. We ship, and you get a 10% off. You get 10% off everything over the whole weekend. And be sure to share this with your friends. We'd love to see some new people online at our next show. Thank you so much for being here this morning with us. I will see you at noon.